What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It doesn't look like Netflix is having a great day, as it appears a new parents group is demanding an investigation after cataloging one of their most popular shows and many questionable references. Now, this isn't the first time Netflix has gotten itself into hot water in terms of their various programming choices, and I think that they enjoy, if you believe Kevin Smith and He-Man, they enjoy causing controversy, and it would appear they enjoy programming that is, how do I say this in a family-friendly way? It's for the playground kids, even though it shouldn't be, we'll say. We all remember Cuties and the debacle that was. And now we have another look into one of their more popular shows / cartoons called Big Mouth. This is a brand new, after reviewing Netflix show, Parents Group demands investigation. Though Netflix's animated series Big Mouth bills itself as TVMA, it is ostensibly intended for adults. It features the youngins engaging in terrible things that they shouldn't be doing, according to a parents group demanding Netflix be investigated over the show. One scene, for example, shows someone who is 13, doesn't want to be left at camp, yelling, "I'll S your D" to his departing father. Another shows a group of middle school boys. Well, I can't even talk about this stuff. Still, another scene shows two boys discussing mutual pleasuring, sharing tips on how to do this type of stuff. Yeah, it's supposed to be gross. It's supposed to be inflammatory. And I think that the point is with this show, I understand why people would say, like, this is weird. They have, like, you know, kids doing this degenerate stuff on the show. It's like if South Park was written by like leftists. You know, the kids on South Park do a lot of heinous stuff. I mean, Cartman, has done many heinous things, and he's supposed to be in elementary school, right? But for the report released Wednesday, the PTC reviewed 10 episodes of Big Mouth. Among the content found, I don't know how much of this I can read. A kid is held down and had a pen 15 shoved in his mouth. A minor does this. I mean, just bad stuff. A character suggests hooking up with his own poo and then eating it. I don't know. Like, much of this stuff is probably just cringe, like, shock jokes for the case of being shock jokes. I don't want to be. There are elements on the right side of the aisle that are constantly trying to chase this stuff down and you know, moralize and cause panic, essentially cancel culture. But this show has been in the crosshairs for years. For years. I mean, this article back from December 2020. Netflix's Big Mouth blasted for glorifying terrible stuff, and as bad, you know, this is hit Netflix show Big Mouth has been criticized for, you know, glorifying terrible stuff. The animated series coming of age sitcom created by Family Guy writer Andrew Goldberg and centers on teens. Nick, I don't really care. They're all going through their own weirdness, but the show's a no holds barred approach, including has offended many. If you have a problem with the movie Cuties, and you better not be watching Big Mouth either. Both are disgusting, tweeted one upset subscriber. The show Big Mouth has been on for a couple of years. Please highlight the show. Glorifies all sorts of bad stuff. We were warned as parents in our small town about this show. It's bad. You know, it's weird to me that, you know, in my generation, the moral panic was about shows like The Simpsons and Family Guy, which don't come anywhere near the type of stuff you see on modern animated stuff. You see, I canceled years ago when they came out with the show Big Mouth. Again, cancel your Netflix. You know, even if you're like, hey, this, you know, I watched this one show. If you have a problem, you know, your money is going towards funding this particular type of show, which, you know, to me, was hopefully never intended for kids. I don't think it was ever intended for kids, but I think people would be forgiven for suggesting or thinking it might be. People would be forgiven for seeing this and wondering who it's targeting. People would be forgiven for wondering, you know, exactly what's going on in the writer's room here. We've seen many times, you know, I'm still wondering where all that footage of audition tapes for Cuties went. You know, is it being sold on the dark web or something like that? I mean, I don't know. This is, again, back last year. And then you go here, you know, you see all the way back to 2017. This show isn't going anywhere. A lot of kind of these activist mom blogs and stuff like that, they can be kind of cringe. But I would be lying to you if I didn't say I'm fine with Netflix, you know, getting in trouble. I'm fine with Netflix having to answer for some of the creative decisions that they're making. It's totally fine to me. This says, you know, Tim Winter, president of the PTC, tells the Daily Wire that it'll be very tough to argue that this material does not meet the threshold for the letter C, letter P content. I relish the chance to go to the courtroom with Netflix as defendant and the creators of this program for producing this and distributing it as co-defendants, he says. He adds that the PTC wants to make sure that law enforcement, including federal, state, and local jurisdictions, evaluate the content for themselves to see if there have been laws broken. We're not just talking about the I know it when I see it Supreme Court Justice Stuart Potter definition, although I think Potter Stewart would agree that he would look at this and know it is, Winter says. But when you look at most contemporary definitions of what this stuff is, look, I think the show is likely trash. Would I support you know, this like digital book burning of programming? No, I don't. What I would rather support is showing people the content. You know, if you're worried about your kids watching this stuff, be a parent. And make sure your kids don't. There's a Netflix, there's a kids app for all these type of things. There's parental controls, more of that available now than there ever was. So, you know, ultimately, it is on parents to get more involved. Am I defending this show? No. Am I saying that, you know, this show is completely above board? Well, it certainly has a lot of stuff in it that I don't think is funny, but I can just not watch the show. I can just not pay Netflix money, which is what I do. You can see, and Winter acknowledges that some find this series less controversial than the French film last year, which embroiled the streaming network in all sorts of scandals. In that case, the live-action movie featured 11, you know, the twerking stuff. After news broke of the film, a boycott campaign began that resulted in the streaming giant seeing an 800% increase in subscription cancellations. Now, I mean, I think this is how you get your voice heard. You know, when GameSpot asked creator Andrew Goldberg in 2017 about the legality of showing this kind of stuff, the question he asked, I think by comedian John Mulaney on day one, Goldberg said, he's like, are we sure we're not doing, you know, terrible stuff? But Goldberg insisted that that was not his goal. Instead, that his team wanted adult viewers to look back and save their adolescence. Wow. That's just what it was like. Or what is it like going through this and I feel better and not alone? Why would parents, I mean, I don't know. Melissa Henson, the program director and parent of a 13-year-old, argues that the content discussed and depicted on the show is in no way commonplace reality for the average tween. My son is the same age as the characters depicted in the show, and that's not my experience. If Big Mouth is for adults to look back at puberty with distance of time, what advantage, what benefit is gained for those adult viewers who have animated versions of children's parts on screen? How is that going to help them be more nostalgic? I think that's a reasonable question to ask. If, on the other hand, this is intended for children, how does society benefit from this type of stuff? Big Mouth and Cuties hardly represent the only instance where streaming giant has courted controversy for content featuring youngins. In 2018, it aired a film titled Desire, which showed a 9-year-old doing something terrible. And 2 seasons of the teen series, depicted high schoolers doing stuff. Again, take control of your televisions, parents. Take control of who you give your money to. This is, when you subscribe to Netflix for that one show you like, and if you see this and you're like, I don't think that show, I don't want to fund that show, then I think the decision is obvious. I think, I won't go so far as to say, that this content is illegal. That's not for me to decide, but I don't think that that's a road I even want to go down. As uncomfortable as this content is, if you want to make an argument for more age gating or, for, other disclaimers and stuff, that I might listen to. But the idea that you'd want to go and cancel it or arrest people for creating it, I think that's a bridge too far, even if it is content that I truly don't like and that I think is in general bad. I think when you are a free speech advocate, when you try to remain that, these are the things that challenge you. There are a lot of quote unquote free speech advocates out there who get on these this show, want to cancel and arrest the people that create this show. I don't think I would go that far, but I do think it's important that people know the kind of stuff that are in the programs, which is why I make these videos. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.